Hey, I'm Dawn Fletcher, and I'm here with CrossFit athlete Katie Hogan. We're going to go over specifically how to get your mind and your body prepared for a max effort lift. Would you agree that it's kind of different how you approach the barbell for a max effort as opposed to maybe a 10 or 15 minute metcon?
Yeah, definitely. I would say some people just, they know their routine, they know what they want to do before they get into their daily metcon or in a competition, but when it comes to heavy lifting, max loads, or 1 rep max attempts, it's got to be a different mindset, in my opinion.
For sure, and in my opinion as well, that's why we're here today. What is like a common error that you see with your athletes as far as just your regular CrossFitter walking up to a barbell going for a lift? Is there something that you see that people make a common mistake?
Yeah, definitely. In my experience with athletes who are training max lifts and even going into their first competition and experiencing that, they don't quite know how to bring the intensity or the focus necessary. They kind of skip over that part and just hurry up to the bar. And whether there's a time component there that's causing that, you need to have a ritual, you need to have a routine, and you need to have that dialed in. And the athletes that kind of don't have that component are a bit more scattered than they might have expected. They figure, oh, it's one attempt, what could go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not quite mentally prepared to lift the weight. And so what we're going to go over, we're going to actually have Katie show you her routine leading up to what would be a max effort clean. So I'm going to ask her to basically talk us through 3 things when you're setting up for your max effort lift. We're going to look for a physical routine, her breathing routine, and also her self-talk. What is she actually thinking and saying to herself right before she lifts this weight? So let's just get this video real quick of Katie going through her. How long have you been doing this same routine?
I'd say for an approach of a barbell, this is probably something that I've started since in CrossFit. CrossFit's really been where I started max lifting. I've lifted for years, but it wasn't at this intensity. So the last 4 years, I've probably had this dialed in pretty much 4 years ago.
See, now when she has this routine, she doesn't need to think about it. She doesn't need to change it. She's been doing the same thing for 4 years. But again, until you have it, until you developed it, there's a problem. So let's watch her go through this. Keep in mind, this lift is going to start with her, 30 seconds prior to whenever she gets to the barbell. So she's going to be standing back here. Go ahead.
So what I'd say is before I even approach the bar, I'm starting to zero in on it. I'm going to block out everything else in my vision. I'm only looking at the barbell. And by looking at that, that is my entire focus, and I can see everything else kind of blurring away. And in doing that, it starts to become a little more physical. I'm going to change my breathing. I'm going to actually breathe a little more heavy to kind of get some energy going. And what I'll usually do is kind of squeeze my hands, whether like flexing them out or tensing them in, just kind of to get blood flowing and for me to feel something. So I need to feel intensity so I can create intensity. And in that's happening, I mean, I'll do anything from like kind of pacing, kicking, again, feeling energy moving through the body parts that I need to be using. And it's a moment that has to happen for me. When I know it's time, then it's a charge towards the bar. And it's not necessarily about speed, but again, it's about holding that focus and that energy. I'm breathing intensely. I'm thinking of the last thoughts that I want to have. What am I going to do on this lift? What am I going for? And then when I charge at that bar, I know exactly where I'm going to put my feet. I get them set. They're right where they need to be. I take maybe a last breath or so, and then I'll find my hand positioning. And at that point, physically, everything's ready to go. And so the last thoughts are really mental before I get into this. And it's really just, it's no longer a cue for me. It's going to be intense, violent, aggressive curse words, honestly.
Yep.
And I'll get down, get that lift, and then I'm done with it. But basically, that's the last thing to zero in is just anger, rage, and just flowing of words through my head. The words over here are more focused on technique, and then as you approach the bar, the technique is already set, and it's just anger.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just fury.